look, we're looking to sweep you guys. You wanted us. You were crying out that you bypassed
It's an ankle or a knee, I do not know. There's Coach Collins out there and all his teammates running. And this, with the injury, we just talked about the 26 games he has missed with an assortment of injuries, and now holding a knee late in a game that is already decided for all intents and purposes.
And I'm sure.
They got your ass on camera. This is the clearest video I've ever seen. This is the most HD shit ever.
Working his guys into the ground. But what I'm saying is Thibodeau comes, he came by this honestly. That's his coaching DNA. That's what he learned. You play your guys. You work hard. You let the chips fall where they may. And I guess what I'm asking is, could Alec Burks or Precious Achiuwa have gotten a few minutes in the Sixers series that might have made a little bit of difference? Now,
Well, we're back here again talking about Tom Thibodeau. And Tom Thibodeau is one of those coaches where he will overplay his players more than any other coach in the league. Which is why when they did a poll for the worst coach in the league, majority of the players decided it was Tom Thibodeau.
Get him out of here, coach!
Obviously Josh Hart took offense. As we saw in the start of the video, we saw that Tom Thibodeau overplays his players and it can lead to major injuries. And Derrick Rose was the one we all remembered. But now let's talk about how the New York Knicks messed up an entire season by overplaying their players. Now, two of the major injuries that we saw were Brunson and Josh Hart, but because both of them made it all the way to the last game of the playoffs, so you can't really say that playing them so much caused the injuries like the other two. Now, the other two I'm referring to are OG Anunoby and Julius Randle. Julius Randle is well known for being one of those dudes who want to play 82 games. We go back to almost every single year as a Knick, and Julius Randle has always showed up.
You're that guy. Okay.
Now this is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because when you play all those minutes, you're bound to have a major injury, and that's what happened, as on January 27th, Julius Randle suffers the shoulder injury. Now, we can't really blame Tibbs for this injury, as we only really saw Tibbs really overplay his players in the playoffs in general. So this is the main issue, which is OG Anunoby. So when you look at OG Anunoby's minute log, you can see that he was playing such extended minutes every single game. So when you combine the two of Thibodeau and OG Anunoby, you were bound for a player who's gonna get injured. And when he went down with the hamstring injury, as a Raptors fan, it broke my heart. Because I knew for sure that the Indiana Pacers were gonna get spanked by the Celtics. And guess what? They got spanked in a sweep. But as I digress, even they had an injury to Tyrese Haliburton, but OG Anunoby was the key factor for this Knicks team. Now, it may not show up in his 2K rating, he's like an 83 rated or something, which is diabolical, but OG Anunoby literally changed this Knicks team to the point where every team feared them as an underdog. Imagine this team healthy. They had everything. They had defense, they had good role players, they had everything. But injuries piled up, and Tom Thibodeau is also one to blame. And here's the second reason why. Well, Thibodeau not learning from his mistakes. This is basically what we can say, because as a coach, you need to understand that you gotta give bench players minutes. Alec Burks should not have been getting minutes after the injuries. Alec Burks should have been getting minutes before the injuries, because if Alec Burks played instead of OG, maybe the hamstring doesn't happen. Because in most cases of a hamstring injury is when it's being overworked, which is exactly what OG Anunoby was doing for the Knicks. Because he was the defensive player of the year for the Knicks. There's no one else who can replicate what he does on the floor. But yeah, as I know, we can't change what happened, and Tom Thibodeau will already pay the price, because now you're always going to have OG Anunoby dealing with a hamstring injury. You never know if it's fully healed, And as we saw with a player like CP3, when you have that type of injury begin, it always happens. Some point in his career, it'll happen again. Now, I get it. You want to play your players 48 minutes because you want your best 5 out there. But rest is such a big thing in the NBA because let's go through every NBA champion the last 5 years. The Nuggets, they had Bruce Brown off the bench. Now they're missing that because they don't have a dude of that caliber. Then you have the Warriors, who had Jordan Poole, and as we saw, they also crumbled. And if I keep going, I can keep on going. But as I want to make the point, Tom Thibodeau has to be a smarter coach, and he needs to understand that player health is so valuable in the league, and every injury counts.
Hold up. Let him go.
If he does not understand this, the Knicks are basically doomed, since Thibodeau is one of those hard-stuck coaches who wants to do his philosophy and his philosophy only. So yeah, I hope that he finally understands that when you have a car, let's say you have to change the oil every 5,000 kilometers, you're not supposed to let it keep running and running until it's up to 10,000 and expect the engine to keep running.
What is blood yapping about?
If you get the reference, you get the reference. But as I digress, if Thibodeau wants to win a championship in an era where injuries are so high in the league, like there's an injury almost every other game, you need to be smart with your player health. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I know it's been a while. I should have posted this a week ago.
You're too late, Spider-Man!
Hopefully the video gave you a better idea of how Thibodeau needs to change. And if he doesn't change, it's gonna be the same story every year for the Knicks. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you want to see more content like this, just leave a like, sub to the channel, and maybe write down what you want to see in the comments. I'm always reading my comments. And yeah, stay safe. Peace.
George got the step and stops